Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the Islamic SHAHADA channel. In 2024, Islam in Canada continues to show significant growth. The number of Muslims in Canada has increased, with diverse communities spread across various provinces and major cities like Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. The Muslim community in Canada is active in various religious and social activities, such as education, charity, and community events. The Muslim population in Canada is estimated to be around 1.9 million people, which is about 5% of the country's total population. Islam is the second largest religion in Canada after Christianity, with most Canadian Muslims residing in provinces such as Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, and British Columbia. The growth of the Muslim population in Canada has been significant over the past few decades. Between 2001 and 2021, the percentage of Muslims increased from 2% to 4.9% of the total population. This growth has been largely driven by immigration and higher birth rates within the Muslim community. In major cities like Toronto and Montreal, the proportion of Muslim residents is even higher, reaching around 10% in the Greater Toronto Area and 8.7% in Greater Montreal. The development of the Muslim community in Canada also includes the establishment of various Islamic organizations and mosques, as well as better integration into various sectors of social, economic, and political life in the country. In 2024, more people in Canada are choosing to convert to Islam. The Muslim community in Canada actively supports those interested in converting through various initiatives and programs. The process of converting to Islam in Canada often involves various experiences and challenges. Some converts share how the religion has positively changed their lives, although there are also those who face difficulties such as social isolation. Brothers and sisters, let's hear some touching stories of Canadian women converting to Islam. Jenny Mullendick-Divlely, a sign language teacher in Canada, converted to Islam in 2006. She simplifies religious teachings for children and prepares social media posts with her 5 children. Jenny has lived in Istanbul for the past 9 years, continuing to teach English. In Istanbul, she creates educational and informative content for children, addressing common issues and introducing Islam and the life of Prophet Muhammad in both Turkish and English, which she uploads to social media. Raised in a conservative Christian family as the second child of a police officer and a nurse, Jenny graduated in linguistics and American Sign Language interpretation. While searching for answers to various life questions, she began debating with Muslims. After extensive research, I found the answers, and on May 14, 2006, I converted to Islam. It was the biggest decision of my life, she said. Initially, her decision to convert to Islam faced rejection from her family, especially her parents. Her father even asked her to reconsider, but she remained firm. During this time, Jenny met Sami Divlely, decided to marry him, and moved to Istanbul in 2012. I didn't know who Muslims were or what they believed. I didn't know we believed in the same prophets. As I studied sign language interpretation, I began researching Islam further, thinking I might need to translate at a mosque someday, she said. Jenny described how embracing Islam opened a new door of faith for her, leading her to become a better person. I found Islam to be the true path, she said. As she studied Islam, Jenny realized her lifestyle would change completely, causing initial fears and worries. However, these fears were alleviated after attending a seminar by a Muslim scholar, which answered many of her questions that even pastors couldn't address. She wrote a letter to her then friend and now husband, Sami, telling him about her conversion to Islam. Bless him, he visited me in my city. That day, I became a Muslim and started wearing the hijab, she said. Initially, Jenny chose not to wear the hijab despite converting to Islam to maintain her cultural identity. Her parents continued to oppose her decision. Her father gave her numerous articles about Islam, hoping to dissuade her. He wanted to show me what I had chosen. He was upset. I understood him, but he didn't know what Islam was. He only knew what he saw on TV. My mother was more scared, fearing I'd marry, never see my child, live in a basement, locked away in darkness, she said. Besides her parents, Jenny also faced sharp reactions from people at her school. When her decision to convert became known, she was called to the university. Even her boss questioned her, leading her to quit her job. When Jenny married Sammy Devleli, who was in Canada for education and work, only her brother attended the ceremony. However, 6 months later, when they held a ceremony in Istanbul, her mother attended. Our first child was born in Canada in 2008. We wanted our child to grow up in a Muslim country, speak 2 languages, and hear the call to prayer, she said. Living with her husband's family, Jenny said they welcomed and treated her like a daughter. The only challenge was the language barrier. They didn't speak English, and she didn't know Turkish. However, she noted that life in Turkey was very different from in Canada. People stared at her when she went out wearing a hijab. I came to Turkey thinking I wouldn't attract attention, but it wasn't like that. Everyone knew I was a foreigner. They were curious and asked me questions. I love Istanbul and Turkey. We want to raise children who are happy with Islam, love Islam, and take the Prophet as a role model, she said. Ingrid Mattson is a Canadian activist, professor, convert, and Muslim. She also served as the president of the Islamic Society of North America, ISNA. Ingrid Mattson was once named the #1 leader of a major and influential organization in America by ISNA. Moreover, during Barack Obama's inauguration, Ingrid was included in the list of invited dignitaries. However, the invitation extended to Mattson sparked controversy among the American public. She was suspected by federal prosecutors of being connected to terrorist networks. In July 2007, federal prosecutors in Dallas filed charges against ISNA for allegedly having ties with Hamas, an Islamic organization in Palestine classified by the U.S. government as a terrorist organization. Nevertheless, neither Mattson nor ISNA was ever convicted. Prosecutors only claimed to have evidence and testimonies linking the group to Hamas and other radical networks. Ingrid Mattson was born in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, in 1964. She came from a devout Roman Catholic family. As a child, she regularly attended daily Mass. I had a simple and innocent childhood piety, Ingrid stated in her book, Seeking Truth Finding Islam, page 44. Despite growing up in a Christian environment in Kitchener, Ontario, at the age of 16, Ingrid decided to stop going to church. At that time, Ingrid became an atheist, not believing in God. She chose to focus on her studies at the University of Waterloo, majoring in arts and philosophy. It was there that she started to learn about Islam. In the Fine Arts department at the University of Waterloo, she explored various history and art museums. Coincidentally, at the Louvre Museum in Paris, she met some Muslim women from Senegal. Mattson was captivated by the sincerity and dignity she saw in her Muslim friends. What further attracted her to Islam was the fact that Muhammad's followers did not only emulate him in worship, but also in all aspects of life, from personal hygiene to how they treated children and neighbors. In 1986, Ingrid decided to recite the SHAHADA and became a Muslim. She then exchanged her clothes for Muslim attire, complete with a hijab. She was 23 years old at the time. When she first performed Salah, Mattson was struck by the sense of closeness to God that had been missing since her teenage years. God was no longer just in church, but everywhere. He was in nature, art, and the sincere faces of Muslim women, said Mattson. In 1987, Mattson decided to go to Pakistan to work as a humanitarian volunteer. While in Pakistan, she met Amir Atek, an Egyptian engineer who was also a volunteer. Feeling a strong connection, they decided to get married. Mattson earned her PhD in Islamic Studies from the University of Chicago in 1999. she has remained very active in educating Canadian Muslims to be active participants in the broader Canadian society. Ingrid Mattson remains active in various academic and social activities. She is a professor of Islamic studies at the University of Western Ontario, Canada, where she teaches and conducts research on Islam, ethics, and spirituality. Additionally, Mattson is involved in various interfaith dialogue initiatives, promoting understanding and cooperation between Muslim and non-Muslim communities. Mattson continues to be an influential voice on issues related to Islam in North America, frequently speaking at conferences and seminars, and writing articles and books on various topics related to Islam. She is also active in various organizations focused on social justice, women's rights, and education. A woman using the pseudonym Al-Hamd on social media went viral after converting to Islam. This woman, who comes from Canada and was raised in a Jewish family, stands as tangible proof of how divine guidance can lead someone to the path of truth. Born and raised in Montreal, Canada, Al-Hamd does not want her full identity to be publicly known. Her parents separated when she was about 3 years old. I was born and raised in Canada. My family is Jewish. My father is from Hungary, so Ashkenazi Jewish. My mother was born in Morocco and occupied Palestine, or what Jews call Israel. I don't feel comfortable revealing my identity, she explained on her YouTube channel, Al-Hamd. She also mentioned that her mother took her and her siblings out of the Jewish community. Nevertheless, she still identifies as a Jewish descendant who practices Islam. Sometimes it's hard for people to understand, but I still consider myself ethnically Jewish who practices Islam, she said. Her childhood was spent in a Jewish school, where she received a strong Jewish religious education. She always believed in God and adhered to the teachings of Judaism, including the Torah. At that time, I believed in God. I always believed in God, but I believed in Judaism specifically. I believed in the Torah. I had a Jewish education and was very close to it, she explained. As time went by, she started to feel doubts about her beliefs. She felt there was something illogical about the teachings of Judaism and began to distance herself from God. I started to have some doubts in my heart about what I practiced, and then I began to distance myself from God. So I lived like that for a few months, but then at one point I felt alienated from God, she revealed. She felt empty and hollow. In her search for answers and reconnecting with God, she found a book about Islam on the bus she took every day. This book led her to study Islam more deeply through the internet. For her, Islam provided logical and satisfying answers to all her questions. At that point, I realized that my questions had been answered logically. I really didn't have any Muslim friends. There was one person, but he was an online friend who never talked about religion and never met in real life, she said. I started reading the Quran. It made sense, there was nothing wrong, and it felt perfect. But at that time, I wasn't sure if I would convert. I accepted Islam, but at some point I realized that modesty in dress and everything made sense, she added. After studying Islam thoroughly, she decided to embrace the religion. On January 26, 2018, she recited the SHAHADA and officially became a Muslim. Her inspirational story serves as concrete evidence that Allah's guidance can come to anyone, at any time, and in unexpected ways. Now she lives happily with her beloved husband, who is from Palestine, and they have been blessed with a child. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next video. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.